Namaste dosto and welcome back to Mind Sense. Today we are diving into a topic that feels invisible but affects millions of people every single day. The growing shadow of urban loneliness and how it's slowly affecting our minds and our lives. It's strange that we live in cities filled with people, notifications, meetings, and social events. Yet, many of us feel emotionally empty. You are present but not connected. Maybe you have felt it too. Coming home to a silent room, scrolling endlessly but feeling nothing. Meeting dozens of people every week but having no one you can have a real conversation with. Today we are unpacking where this loneliness comes from and how it shapes our minds and our emotional world. And more importantly, हम इसे कैसे टैकल कर सकते हैं. So let's start with the basics. Loneliness isn't about being physically alone. It's about the gap between the connection you want and the connection you actually experience. In cities, we are often surrounded by people, yet most interactions are fleeting, functional, or surface level. You might talk to colleagues all day, attend meetings, network, even hang out on weekends. But how many of those moments make you feel truly seen? Urban life gives us independence, but it often takes away intimacy. Many psychologists call this crowded isolation. You are visible but not known. You are connected digitally but emotionally distant. Our brains evolved in groups and communities. हमारे लिए belonging was survival. So when emotional connection breaks, the mind doesn't just get sad, it gets confused. It begins to ask, why do I feel disconnected when everything looks normal? अगर आपको भी कभी लगे कि कुछ खालीपन सा है, there is nothing wrong with you. You are responding to a very human need, the need to be understood, not just surrounded. Meetings, deadlines, commute, errands, सब कुछ इतना पैक होता है कि we slip into autopilot mode. रूटीन चलता रहता है बट प्रेजेंस खो जाती है. और माइंडफुल प्रेजेंस, द काइंड दैट नीडेड फॉर द इमोशनल कनेक्शन, रिक्वायर्स मेंटल स्पेस एंड इमोशनल सेफ्टी, अटेंशन, पेशेंस. बट वी डोंट हैव दिस एनीमोर. नॉट बिकॉज वी डोंट वांट टू, बट बिकॉज मॉडर्न लाइफ इज कॉन्स्टेंटली ओवर स्टिमुलेटिंग अस. नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट वर्क, बिकॉज फॉर मोस्ट अर्बन एडल्ट्स दैट्स वेयर आवर आइडेंटिटी लिव्स. Our parents work to survive. We work to prove ourselves. We chase goals, promotions, productivity, and validation. And somewhere in this loop, we start measuring our worth by how busy we are. Ever noticed how common it is to say, I am just too busy? As if that's a badge of honor. But underneath that hustle is exhaustion, emotional and mental. When work becomes the center of our life, it quietly replaces relationships, rest, and reflection. And then, when we do get free time, we are too drained to connect deeply. We scroll, binge, or zone out. Loneliness isn't always loud. Sometimes it's hidden under overwork. From a psychological view, this is linked to emotional burnt out. When our capacity to connect or care gets depleted because our emotional energy is consumed elsewhere. Notifications, reels, emails, multitasking, information overload, the mind is rarely still. And a restless mind can't connect deeply. Overthinking, stress, and fatigue eat up the bandwidth we need for real relationships. So हम conversations में होते हुए भी पूरी तरह present नहीं होते. और जब प्रेजेंस नहीं होती तो कनेक्शंस नेचुरली शैलो हो जाते हैं. लेट्स बी ऑनेस्ट, मेनी रिलेशनशिप्स टुडे फील ट्रांजैक्शनल. वी मीट पीपल बेस्ड ऑन यूटिलिटी, नेटवर्किंग, कोलैबोरेशन, व्हाट कैन वी डू फॉर ईच अदर. Even friendships sometimes run on convenience, proximity, mutual benefits, or shared status. Maybe they are your colleague, or you live in the same building, or your kids play together, or you take the same gym class. Now these relationships are not wrong, they serve a purpose, but their foundation is circumstance, not emotional compatibility. And when that circumstance changes, like job shift, या building shift, schedule shifting, the relationship quietly dissolves. That's why so many people say that I have lived in this city for 5 to 10 years and still don't have a single close friend. Because most relationships are functional, not foundational. They're polite, they're convenient, but they don't hold emotional weight. You may spend years around the same people, yet never know anything about them. Now let's zoom out historically and culturally. Because loneliness didn't start with the pandemic. It started increasing in the past few decades when world shifted towards individualism. Traditionally, Indian society was community driven. Joint families, neighborhoods, shared festivals. Even if you didn't like your relatives, you belonged somewhere. But when urban migration increased, especially जब IT boom आया, nuclear families common हो गई, work hours stretched, and aspirations grew faster than community, there was a definite shift. It's not that people have become selfish. It's just that the culture has shifted. Society today rewards individualism, being independent, self-reliant, and ambitious. And that's not bad because individualism gave us freedom, the power to choose careers, partners, and lifestyle. But the side effect is disconnection. Earlier, community came first. Now, I come first. Psychologically, this creates what's called an autonomy trap. We crave independence, but deep down, we are wired for belonging. So we end up swinging between wanting space and craving connection. It's why so many of us feel emotionally tired after social events. We are trying to connect in a world that runs on self-interest and performance. In relationships too, vulnerability has become rare. People say, I don't want to depend on anyone. But real connections requires some dependence, emotional openness, shared safety, and trust. Without it, even love starts to feel, empty. Before mobile phones and internet, staying connected required effort. People used to go to STD booths to call relatives and friends. They had saved numbers in diaries, they had remembered birthdays, and they had called despite the cost because it mattered. आजकल calls are free, connectivity is instant, पर effort almost zero हो गया है. लोग messages पढ़ के भी reply नहीं करते, calls miss हो जाते हैं, and somehow everyone is busy. हमारी convenience बढ़ी पर connection कम हो गया. We have forgotten the art of human bonding. Most of us talk ऊपर से. Career, trips, hobbies, jokes, सब चलता है. But when it comes to personal struggles, people hesitate. Because vulnerability feels risky. What if they judge me? What if they don't care? What if I overshare? But have you noticed कि जब कोई तुमसे कुछ personal share करता है, you automatically feel safe enough to open up a little too. That's exactly how meaningful connection begins. But there is a reason I'm calling it an art or skill set. Because everyone doesn't earn equal access to your inner world. Knowing what to share and with whom is the emotional maturity. Still, without some openness, relationships stay shallow and loneliness stays deep. To understand its true psychological impact, we should realize that loneliness is not a mood. It's a state of nervous system. Chronic loneliness can lead to heightened anxiety, social hypervigilance, like feeling that people don't like you, and reduced self-worth, difficulty trusting, emotional numbness, sensitivity to rejection, and reliance on digital escape. It's very common to see people with loneliness to have weak immunity, poor sleep pattern, digestive issues, and increased inflammation. It can even change how you interpret social cues. Neutral things suddenly feel negative. A simple delay in reply feels like rejection. A small disagreement feels like abandonment. This creates a loop. Loneliness leads to misinterpretation, which leads to withdrawal, which in turn leads to more loneliness. The mind becomes a smaller room. So the big question is, how do we change this? Healing loneliness doesn't mean collecting more people. It means creating better connections, internally and externally. So let's discuss few psychological and practical ways we can tackle with it. Number 1. Rebuild the emotional bandwidth. Connection requires presence. Presence requires energy. And energy requires rest. So slow down, reduce the overstimulation, especially digital, and give your mind breathing space. Number 2. Quality over quantity. It's not about having more friends. It's about safe ones. Look for relationships where you can be your unfiltered self. Even 1 or 2 authentic bonds can buffer loneliness far more than 100 casual connections. Number 3. Practice inviting, not waiting. Urban adults often wait for others to initiate. Try reaching out instead. Ask a friend for "let's catch up." Just send that message saying "miss talking to you." Small invitations build big bonds. Number 4. Create or join meaningful communities. Join interest groups, hobby circles, volunteering, anywhere people gather without hierarchy or transaction. In a city, community rarely finds you. You have to create it. Connections formed around shared passion are deeper. Number 5. Digital detox and presence. Set boundaries with screens. Practice being present when you are with people. No distractions, no multitasking. Deep connection requires your full attention. Number 6. Build conversational depth. Instead of texting, "Hey, what's up?" try to remember something specific about them from your last conversation and ask about it. Share something real, even if it feels awkward. Most people are longing for depth, but waiting for the other to start. So be that person. Number 7. Heal your inner barrier. For many people, loneliness isn't lack of people. It's fear, past hurt, and trust issues. Therapy helps you understand and dissolve those blocks so you can let connections in. Number 8. Create small rituals. Weekly calls, monthly meetups, shared breakfast, या Sunday walks. Relationship grow through rhythm. So maybe urban loneliness isn't just a crisis. It's a mirror. A mirror showing us that in the race for independence and success, we have forgotten the simple joy of belonging. A reminder that हमारी life सिर्फ achievements या independence से नहीं बनती. I hope today's episode helped you understand your own feelings a little better और शायद किसी और की loneliness को भी. अगर ये episode किसी को help कर सकता है तो do share it with that one person. Sometimes one message can change someone's lonely evening. आज के लिए इतना ही. अगले हफ्ते फिर मिलेंगे. Till then, take care and stay healthy.